It is time to find your seats because we're about ready to start. Welcome to the 2013-2014 academic year in the Springdale School District. Let me ask a question. How many of you all are happy to be here? Well, that was a decent response, but I'll tell you, I've had a young man who's been with us the last week and a half. He's from Afghanistan. He's a Fulbright scholar at the University of Arkansas, and he's never been to the United States before. And if he came in here, and I asked him how happy he was to be here, it would be even more exultant than you all were. So let me ask you again. How many of you all are happy to be here? We should all be happy. We're very blessed to work in the best school district in the state of Arkansas and maybe the United States. You all do great work, and this is a welcome back to you for the great work that you have done and are going to do in the 2013-14 year. Let's kick this off with the presentation of our colors. This is the Har-ber High School FFA. Their officers for the year, Tyler Stacy, Sarah White, and Matt Crankston. The Pledge of Allegiance will be given by the Springdale High School Student Council President, Brendan Cook, and that'll be followed by our national anthem from the Springdale School District Choir Directors. Brendan?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets yet there, the once bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, you can all be seated now. I know everybody in this room is heavy into social media, and I hope that those of you who use Facebook, and I would guess that's most of you, are friends of the Springdale School District Facebook page. And if you aren't, you need to get on immediately this afternoon and share us with your friends, because we need to tell the good stories of Springdale and get it out there. But if you are a friend of ours on Facebook, you read a story we did about 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe it hadn't been that long ago, about a trip that the George Junior High Band made to Mississippi this summer. It was a great adventure. It was Common Core at the absolute best, with all the things that they did before they actually performed for an hour in Biloxi, Mississippi. They did a great job. In fact, Dr. Rollins drove down, and I remember he was in the administrative staff meeting, and he said, I would have driven 10,000 miles to hear that band play. They were that good. So let's launch our entertainment for the day with these numbers from the George Junior High Band.
need a second number, right? Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You want to speak to them?
No, we just appreciate that.
The George University Band, how about that? Mr. Mike Eccles, students, thank you so very, very much. Great job, great job. Let's develop a new theme, would you? Let's think about this together. Springdale is a great choice. Would you agree? Springdale's a great choice for our students. It's a great choice for our parents and families, and it's a great choice for each of us. Would you agree? I hope you've had an excellent return to school. I know you've had meeting after meeting. There are a lot of important things for us to get prepared for, as we've talked about, and I know you've talked about in your respective schools and in your PLCs and so forth. Monday's a big day, and we're all looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot of kids. As hard as we try, I expect there'll be some rough edges, but let's just remember, we're a team. We work together. We identify issues of the day, whatever they might be, and we work on them and improve them together. There's a very special pep talk I want you to hear. Listen.
Pep talk. I think we all need a pep talk. The world needs to stop being boring. Yeah. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're good at that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, are we on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team. You're my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. Uh-oh. Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Rocks, thorns, and glass, birds roll. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But was there really were too fast? I want to be the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing, unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream and keep going. Keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. No, he retired. Yeah, he retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. But I do know this. It's everybody's duty to give the world a reason to dance. So get to it. You've just been pep talked. Create something that will make the world awesome. Play ball.
Well, we all need a pep talk all the time, don't we? That we're just folks. Did we hear a pep talk this morning? Michelle Klinger Parker, can we have the house lights back up? Michelle, where are you? Thank you so much for your making our day, that's for sure. If you say Springdale's a great choice, we all can give our own definition of that. Let me begin to share some things with you that will help you appreciate that, and I expect it's not new information. I've shared some of it over the last 2 mornings. You know we're opening a new junior high school. Dr. Shepard, where are you and our Lakeside staff? Will y'all please stand? I want to encourage everybody to go by and visit the school. It is absolutely beautiful. A great team out there that's preparing to serve those kids at the highest possible level. I spoke yesterday morning about our pre-K program. I didn't get to share that with you this morning. I want everybody in the audience to understand that. You know we're a growing district. Most of you know that we can expect the neighborhood of 22,000 kids when we get school underway. I expect you understand a part of that growth will be about 650 to 700 kids are new to the district. And then we have an additional 240 pre-K kids. And I recognized our pre-K staff yesterday. Darlene Fleeman and our pre-K teachers have done a phenomenal job. They've built a marvelous, professional, credible reputation. And the Arkansas Better Chance program recognized that and increased their partnership with us. So our numbers in pre-K are rising from 600 to 840. Pre-K, please stand and let us thank you one more time. I also spoke with you just a little about our ALE program. Our ALE program is being renewed, if you will. It's being redesigned. The space is new. Dr. Compton, our maintenance staff, and others have really done a fabulous job of creating new quality space for our ALE kids. We're en route to moving from about 400 ALE children to at least 600 over the next, this year and certainly next year. I want to talk to you about student achievement based on their records. Just looking at literacy, this past year, our ALE students' performance tripled from what it had been the prior year. ALE staff, we're thankful for you. Let's thank them, if you will. And here's the major announcement. In the area of mathematics, our ALE students rose from a performance in the teens, really, in terms of their performance on state tests. This past year, they were looking at 76% proficient and advanced, and algebra and geometry was approaching 70%. That's phenomenal. So during the course of our time today, we're going to share some of the work of our kids and our teachers. This school district is moving forward in a marvelous way, and I want to thank each of you for the contribution that you've made. Those returning teachers, I want you to welcome about 163 new staff members to our school. Will you do that? New teachers, please rise and let us welcome you and thank you. This is a phenomenal education team that just got better and better and better. I want to say thank you to the Springdale School Board. We have board members seated here and distributed around the room. All of you know that the work we do springs from a platform that they create. Board members, Kathy, Mike, and others in the room, please stand. Let us thank you, if you will. It is such a privilege to work with them, and I can assure you their heart is in representing you and creating, again, conditions by which you can lead and teach from so that each of our children can move forward. Let me just give you some quick pieces of information that you can begin to think about. You know I expect already. You can begin to add your own list. Springdale's a great choice. Let's look at some evidence of that. When we talk about graduating seniors, every teacher in this room has had a major part of helping those youngsters move through the system and prepare. 1,100, just over 1,100 graduates this past spring earned more than $18 million in scholarship offers. Is that great? I think that's unparalleled in the state. And this year, we just want to strengthen it and grow it and help more and more kids get ready to continue their education or go directly into the workforce and perform at a high level. Our environmental and spatial technology programs have earned state and national recognition. The Har-ber East Initiative twice now has been named the #1 East Initiative in the nation. And I need for you to understand, and we'll come back to that whole group in just a minute. We have East initiatives coming forward in our elementary schools, at Springdale High School, and we're doing all that we know how to bring additional resources to bear so that we continue to grow that. Recognize our East initiative, if you would. Sonora Elementary School this last year was named one of the 10 most innovative elementary schools in the United States. Thank you, staff. The Springdale High School FFA has received the National Chapter Award for 4 consecutive years. Thank you, Springdale. George Elementary, Hunt, Smith, Westwood were the only schools in Arkansas to earn the Gold Distinction Healthier U.S. School Challenge National Award. Only 4, and they came from this school district. Let's recognize those schools, if you will. You've seen great evidence of the arts, whether it's band or choir or speech and debate, and the list goes on and on. Our kids love to perform. They love to compete. And I'm going to say this over and over again. I say that all the time, and it brings me such personal pleasure to be able to say it. But I want to acknowledge, and I want you to think with me, there's another group that loves to compete. That group's sitting in front of me. We compete at every level, and I thank you for your passion and desire to get better and better and better. Our district television program has been recognized nationally, continues to be. Our CTE, our career and technical programs are among the best in the country. I want to just acknowledge a select group of educators, and I could probably talk about everybody in the room, that Mr. Don Hoover, our principal at George Junior High School, was just named the State Secondary Principal of the Year. Don, we're so very proud of you. Ms. Linda Odell of Hunt Elementary School was a state finalist for Teacher of the Year. Great job, Linda. Greg Thetford of Central Junior High was named the Arkansas Health Teacher of the Year. Great job, Greg. Ms. Tanea Berry of Parson Hills was named the Arkansas PE Teacher of the Year. Christy Stroger of Harp Elementary was the Arkansas winner of the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching. Ms. Darlene Fleeman was named the Arkansas Outstanding Early Childhood Professional. Darlene, thank you. Mr. Britt James of Springdale High School was named the Teacher of the Year by the Association for Career and Technical Education. Great job, Britt. Servant leadership is a major area of emphasis for all of us. Sarah Stallings of Biari Elementary has just recently been named the Mentor Teacher of the Year by the University of Arkansas. Great job, Sarah. So these are just some examples, and I don't need to forget that Debbie Flora, our principal at Young, was named a master teacher by the State Principals Academy. Debbie, we're very proud of you. Over the years, this team has brought an educational program forward that's really based or sits on 4 major pillars. Student achievement is at the top of our list. Our purpose is learning. So we're constantly stretching and trying to grow and improve our work so that our kids will get better and better. Student achievement is our first pillar. We want our schools to be the safe place, and we all continue to work to bring that forward. Personalization of teaching and learning becomes more and more real to us each and every day. And then as we've celebrated over some time now, but certainly we've seen evidence of that yesterday morning and again this morning, and that's school community partnerships, a community that supports each of you, each of our schools, and each of our students. Those 4 pillars are as important today as they've ever been. And as we get ready to open this new school year, I hope we can grow them, extend them, make them even stronger. And as we do, we bring more and more evidence forward that Springdale is a great choice. Thank you all and welcome back. There's a very special video that I enjoy, and I expect you will as well. I could tell you all sorts of personal stories about this George Junior High School band. Our district does the things that it can to help great programs like that go forward. But Mr. Eccles has been out there along with Chris Moore and his administration and parents, and I expect many of you, those of you from George University for sure, trying to help bring more and more instrumentation to these kids, and you can see the marvelous talent that they have. I want to use that as a springboard, and I'm going to give you an example of other parts of the world that we live in today to just try to vividly bring forward the idea our children are so very creative. And if we can use our resources, bring our thinking, our passion, our energy together around them, there's no end to what they can do. I want you to look at this special video. The title is called The Landfill Orchestra.
Mi nombre es Ada Maribel Ríos Bogado, tengo 13 años y toco el violín.
Me llamo Juan Manuel Chávez, más conocido como Baby, tengo 19 años y toco el cello. Este cello está hecho de una lata de aceite, la madera tirada en la basura y las clavijas son de una vieja cuchara para golpear la carne y para hacer el ñoquis. Y suena así.
Una comunidad como Caldeura no es un lugar para tener un violín. De hecho, un violín cuesta más que su casa.
Nací
ese grupo acá mismo encontramos el colador de violín. Y de ese empezamos los instrumentos reciclados. La familia que acá vive recicla todo lo que hay en la basura y se vende. No pensaba antes que yo voy a hacer ese instrumento. Y me siento demasiado feliz cuando estoy viendo a un niño que está tocando un violín reciclado.
Cuando ya escucho el sonido del violín, siento como mariposa en el estómago, así una sensación que no sé cómo voy a explicar.
Bueno, la orquesta de instrumentos reciclados es una orquesta que toca instrumentos hechos con la basura.
1, 2, 3.
Y mi vida sería... Sin la música estaría decoreíble.
La gente se da cuenta que no tenemos que tirar la basura muy fácilmente. Y no tenemos que desechar a las personas muy fácilmente.
I want you to think with me about this comment, and then we'll bring understanding to it as we talk about it together. The children have brought the world to us. The children have brought the world to us. We see that every day. We're developing our skills in terms of how to deal with children from all backgrounds, all walks of life, if you will, families from every imaginable beginning. That is, we've said together over time now, and I think perhaps we understand it better today than we have ever in the past. It doesn't make any difference to us as their teachers, as their principal, as their superintendent, whether a child came from across the street or across the ocean. When they get to our schoolhouse door, they're one thing. They're our children. And you are doing beautiful, beautiful work with them. So as we have together for many, many years, we will live the dream of teaching all children to the highest levels that we can. And we will learn more and more and more about the strength of multiculturalism. And we will think together and extend together what it really means when we say the children have brought the world to us. We've acknowledged our new teachers. We've thanked our school board. We've thanked the community that has supported us so vividly. I have the privilege now of welcoming 3 new assistant superintendents to the microphone. I would ask that they come on up and join me. I want them to just share a thought or two for each of you. They are our assistant superintendents. And again, they are adding immensely to this team. Mr. Jared Cleveland is our new deputy superintendent for personnel. Ms. Kim Garrett is our new assistant superintendent for teaching and learning in grades 8 through 12. And Mr. Clay Hendricks is our assistant superintendent for technology and educational innovation. Please welcome these new assistant superintendents.
Thank you very much. I won't take but just a minute. I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your team. My word, I watched that George Junior High Band. I've never seen anything like that. When Dr. Rollins told me about, in fact, told the team about what he observed in Biloxi, I thought, wow, they must have been really good. I had no idea, Dr. Rollins. So thank you for once again opening my mind to the enlightenment of a child. So they're just amazing. Little quick story about me. I've been an administrator for well over a decade. It's kind of hard to believe I look so young, right? But in my 40s, I've been a superintendent, I guess, for 9 years, worked at the Department as Assistant Commissioner of Education last year, and was very fortunate to know Dr. Rollins and visit with him, and he welcomed me along with the rest of the staff, the central office staff, to come to Springdale. What is most exciting for me to be here is being a parent of 3 children that live here. One is graduated going to college, and the other 2 will be in our schools, one in Young and another in Central. And they're so excited and so happy to be here. And I'm so grateful that my children get to attend here with all of the opportunities that exist for them. How many of you know what a team is? Absolutely. How many of you feel like you're part of a team? I do too. My hand's up. A team has a constant focus, and they have strengths and weaknesses. I'm a human. I have many weaknesses. Ask my wife. I have a few strengths, though, and my pledge to you is to use my strengths to bolster what the team needs, okay? I heard the choir of band directors, or of choir directors. I can't sing my way out of a bucket, but I recognize when I hear quality singing, okay? They are quality individuals. I know that what they do helps me, okay? And I want to help you with whatever talent God may have given me. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. And thank you, Dr. Rollins and School Board, for allowing me to work for you.
I am also very honored and excited to be here. I've been in the Arkansas area for 10 years, and when I first heard about this position, I called a fellow friend who's a superintendent in the state, and I said, you know, this is what I've been wanting to do. I love where I am. I love what I'm doing, but I'm just so excited about this possibility. You know, what do you think I should do? And he said, are you kidding? The opportunity to go to Springdale and learn from the best people in the area, in the state. He said, you've got to go after it. And I was just so honored and thrilled when Dr. Rollins called me. I'm still so honored to be here. And it's not just the learning that I'm doing, the incredible Dr. Jones and Dr. Morledge, but what's really struck me lately is the heart that you have for kids. You don't see that everywhere. I know some of you have been so privileged to have been here so long, and I've been in different states and different districts, and I can tell you what you have is so special. And I am just very honored and humbled to be part of this team and be part of this family. And as I've thought of what Dr. Rollins has been saying about Springdale, a great choice, I have to tell you, Dr. Rollins, I think it's the best choice. Thank you. Anything I can do to help you.
Good afternoon. I have enjoyed your enthusiasm and your excitement to be back at school. I'm excited to be here. I can't wait till Monday. I love the day that kids come back. My name is Clay Hendricks. I have the best job in the Springdale School District. It could only be improved if I could teach a section of chemistry or physics first thing in the morning, but otherwise I get to do the funnest things that happen in the school district, and so I'm very excited about that. I've spent the last 9 years in Lincoln. I was the teacher, principal, and the superintendent there, and so I've known about Springdale, been in the co-op, and I am very excited to be here. I want to thank you for the welcome that you have given me. I have spoken, I don't know how many people, and everyone's been so gracious and welcomed me to the team. The enthusiasm that you have for children, and to echo Ms. Garrett's thoughts, your principals, I'm just so impressed with the focus at the level of the student and how intense that is and what it will mean to the kids in this community. So many of you have come up to me and individually said, we are the STEM elementary, we are the technology elementary, we are the middle school elementary. I've heard someone from every school tell me that they are the technology whatever, junior high. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to be in the district where so many people are excited about technology and those things. And finally, Dr. Rollins and the school board, just the opportunity to be a part of the leadership team here. Such a distinguished team. I have so much to learn, and I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much.
They all left very good jobs to come to Springdale, and that should tell you something. Sometimes, we can lose track of the fact of how good we are by not hearing what outsiders have to say. Those are very common comments about the Springdale School District from around the state. You should be very proud of that. You should be very proud of the talent that's in this district, and we're about to hear from some of them. Next up is going to be a student at Tyson Middle School. He's a 7th grader. His name is Sojas Wagle. He is not only a great entertainer, he's a great speller. He was second in the Washington County Spelling Bee this year, so he did very well there, and now he's going to play for us. Next up, going to be a sophomore at Har-ber High School. Meet Alex Bryant.
You shout it loud, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticized, but all your bullets ricochet. You shoot me down, I get up. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim. Fire away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Cut me down, but it's your whole how further to fall. Ghost town, haunted love. Raise your voice. Sticks and stones may break my bones. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim. Fire away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. I am titanium. I am titanium. Stone heart, machine gun, fired at the ones who run. Stone heart is bulletproof glass. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. I am titanium. I am titanium.
We have 22,000 students, but each one of them somehow is individually talented, and you teach them all, and that's one of the things that drives this man that we're about to hear from. When Tim Stevenson he was in law enforcement for a while, and then he got to become a teacher in 1996. They gave him at-risk kids, and he had to figure out a way to reach them. And that was the beginning of what we now call environmental and spatial technology. Now, we've had the privilege of having him on our campus before because he's come to honor Har-ber High School for having the #1 East program in the entire United States. Now we're looking forward to hearing him and what he has to say to us as we begin our school year. So greet Mr. Tim Stevenson.
how in the world do you follow all of that? Anybody want to, that's amazing. I have to keep notes now. I didn't used to do, I used to write everything and speak publicly from a napkin. I would write 4 words on a napkin, and that was all I needed. And then, are y'all familiar with the Peter principle of growth, where you evolve to one level beyond your capability, and that's where you stay? Y'all heard about that? That is completely false. You can evolve 4 or 5 levels beyond your capability until God, in His infinite wisdom, will strike you with reality. In my case, it came in the when I was at the top, I guess you could say, of my professional career. I was struck with a heart attack and a stroke simultaneously. It was a amazing thing to experience. For some reason, I wasn't done yet, and I have been incredibly blessed since those days to return to somewhat of a life where I get to do what I love to do best. I still get reality checks pretty often, though. The other day, I was doing a presentation to a pretty good-sized group, and I had this big PowerPoint thing that I had some students actually help me build, and it was an amazing presentation. I couldn't wait to show it. And I got going on the thing, and I was ready to change my first slide, and I operated the clicker, and of course the thing fails. Have you ever noticed how technology sometimes just fails you when you need it the most? And I was monkeying around with the thing, and the laptop was somewhere where I couldn't get at it to push the button myself, and I was kind of waiting that awkward moment for some help, and one of our staff got my attention at the back of the room, so I eased over to the back of the auditorium, and I eased over there, and I said, "What is it?" And she said, "Mr. Stevenson, there's something terribly wrong with your car. It keeps starting up and turning off, and starting up and turning off." I said, "Well, this dadgum projector isn't working either, and there must be sunspots or something. I don't know what." I got it. The humbling is in progress, and I only hope I can do it as much justice as the blessings I've been given. I'm so honored to be here in Har-ber and humbled to be here. I look to this school district, excuse me, I'm used to the little tiny schools, this district as the keeper of the dream. No pressure. I've had the distinct experience of being able to work with schools all across this nation. I've worked with schools in other nations. I have seen, I hope, the worst, and I dream of a day when all kids can get the opportunities that you guys are giving kids up here, and keeping your eye on the kids. And I could not be any more sincere when I tell you, great job in Springdale. It is phenomenal what you do. I've had an amazing relationship with Debbie Lamb's program over there at Har-ber, those kids, and Josh, well, all of you guys. You guys are knocking it out of the park, and you do it every year, and that's not an accident. There's reasons for things like that. I had I had the interesting opportunity after I started recovering from my health issues. I thought I was done. I was finished. I had run my race, and I was content to sit at home and armchair quarterback the world. I didn't think I had much left in me. And my 87-year-old dad walked in one day. My dad was an orphan. He grew up on the streets of Kansas City. He found himself at age 9 on his own. To say he pulled himself up by his bootstraps is an understatement. And I've written his life history, and I hope one day to be able to publish it. But he made me promise not to publish it until he was gone. Well, it looks like I'm going to check out before he does, so I don't know what the heck he's going to do. He may have a problem. It may be lost. I had this opportunity when Dad walked in, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm sitting here watching the news." He said, "No, I mean, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, Dad, I can't do much anymore. It hurts when I breathe, and I got congestive heart failure, and I've got this, and I've had this stroke, and my hand shakes all the time. I can't get control of my thoughts. I can't tell Rice Krispies from Raisin Bran when I go to the store." I said, "I don't know what I'm going to do other than just kind of sit here." And he said, "Well, what did you enjoy doing the most before you sat down?" I said, "Well, Daddy, you know that. Teaching. That's my love. That's my life." He said, "Well, why don't you go do that again?" I said, "Well, Dad, I'm retired." And he said, "Well," he said, "I think you ought to go do something." And I said, "Dad, it's liable to kill me." And he said, "Wouldn't you rather die on your feet?" I called a friend of mine. I said, "Look, I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'd like back in the classroom. Do you have anything?" He said, "I've only got one job. Tiny, tiny school. Special ed. Nobody wants the job. It's a train wreck beyond belief." He said, "Are you qualified?" And I said, "Lord, no." "Are you certified?" And I said, "Lord, no." He said, "Well, that's all I've got." And I said, "I'll take it." He said, "You'll have to swear you're going to go get certified." I said, "Man, I'm good at swearing. Just ask my wife." So I raised my hands and I did all that stuff, and I just wanted to see if I still had it. And I knew I could do that for a year, and nobody would be any hurt for it if I couldn't, because they couldn't find anybody to do the job anyway. I went down there. I hadn't been in the classroom in several years. I'd been recovering, and I'd been this national poobah director going around giving big talks prior to that. So it had been years since I'd been in the classroom. But I thought, well, I can do this. I walked in that classroom, and there were file cabinets lined up as far as you could see. And I thought, man, that doesn't look like the classrooms I remember. And my aide had one aide in that school, and she was mine. She was God sent, let me tell you. She said, "Mr. Stephenson, that's all the records you have to keep." And I said, "My gosh." I said, I started reading through that mess, and I got scared to death. My kids were, my gosh, they were this and they were that, and they were unbelievable. And I said, I'm not up to this. I'm not trained. I don't know what half this stuff means. I can't fill out all these forms. It's been years since I've been to college. And I went and told my friend, I said, "Look, man, we've messed up here. I can't do this." He said, "Too late now. You're it." said, well, I'll do the best I can. So I went and sweated bullets. My wife made me wear my medevac card on my lapel because she knew it was going to kill me. Because I'm not very organized anyway, and then you put me in the anal retentive ground zero of the world, which is special education, and for sure it was going to kill me. I had every day I came in, and my wife and Leanne had conspired because she learned where to peek through and see if I was still alive. And she'd call my wife, yeah, he's still hanging in there. And then the kids came. The kids came, and my nervousness and my anxieties, and it all just left me because I met my kids. I had 18 of the most incredible kids I have ever had in my entire life. I had never really had the opportunity to work with those special needs kids before, but boy, was I fixing to get a full dose of it. I met my kids, and I calmed down a little bit, and I said, I can do this. I can help these kids. I don't know if I can do all that stuff, but I can help these kids. And so I set about getting to know my kids, and I learned a lot. And they taught me so much. I had one boy that was Jesse. He was a Down syndrome kid. He weighed about 385 pounds, and it was all love. It was just the most loving human being I've ever met in my life, and Jesse and I fell in love. And I had Ashley and Derek and Kirk, and you know, that's one of those hippo laws I think I'm violating, but y'all are just gonna have to bear with it. That hippo thing came about in my absence somewhere along there, but anyway, nobody's called me on it yet, so I guess I'm still good. I met all those kids, and we started, and I figured out something. They couldn't read. I had 7 kids fixing to graduate from high school, and they couldn't read. And they had all these labels, and I asked their parents, they can't read? No, they can't read. Everybody's tried to get them to read. They've used blue this and yellow that and red overlays. This program and that program, and they bought this thing, and they've tried this intervention strategy, and I said, and none of it's worked. No, doesn't work. None of them can read. None of the group. I said, has anybody ever just sat down around the table and read? Well, I don't think so. I said, well, that's all I know to do with them. And so I hadn't been trained, certified, and qualified. I've swore I'm going to, but so far I'm not going to do it. So I sat down with those kids, and I just set aside 2 hours a day, which I'm not sure how that was supposed to work because there were periods in this schedule and that schedule. But I just said for 2 hours a day, the 7 kids and I are going to sit in a room by ourselves. We're going to shut and lock the door, and we're going to read. And we're going to do it every day till we can all read. And so we started. And it took weeks to gain their confidence. They were so special, and they needed so much. But the biggest thing they needed was trust and love. That's what they were missing. Gradually over time, we would pick a word that they didn't know, and then we got to use that. If they had the freedom to take that word and make fun of me with it. That was the game. And boy, it got interesting. Some of it got very interesting. And they would make up sentences with words in it, and then we'd go back and we'd read some more. We were sitting there reading one day, and interesting thing happened. My superintendent friend of mine passed away, and I got a brand new superintendent, little tiny school, okay? She came over and she said, look, I've signed you up for the educational program in Washington, D.C. And I said, oh my God. You got to remember, as a national director, I worked in Washington for a time, and I pretty well knew what things were like that came from there. She said, I've signed you up for the program, and I said, well, let me ask you a question. Before you tell me about that program, I've noticed all these programs have come about, and I need somebody to explain to me what all these are. And she said, you don't know? And I said, no, I don't know. I'm a member of the PLC, the EOC, the AP, the CWT, the APSI, the Teacher Evaluation Plan, the LTS, the NMSI, the Mentor Program. I have special ed reports, have ESL reports, have GT programs. I have tutoring. I have both vertical and horizontally aligned curriculum, and I think pretty soon they're going to do it diagonally if you hadn't done too much. I went on to, you can stop me anytime you want. You know, a cool thing about being terminally ill, there's just really not a whole lot you can mess up, you know? I got down to bell ringers. If I don't know if you can see this, I'm on line 2. I'm gonna spare y'all the rest of these programs. But they finally get down to Common Core, TESS, and the National Science Standards or something like that. Those are the last 3 entries. The one right before that is the Capture the Moment program. Y'all heard of that one? It's an amazing program. Washington, D.C. wants to know what's going on in the classroom, so they've rigged up this deal where they will ding your classroom and you tell them what you're doing. They want to know. So she had signed me up for that program, and I got a free computer out of the deal. I was amazed. I have written $43 million in technology grants in my career, and so the idea of getting a free computer really motivated me. So, but anyway, I wasn't going to complain, and I said I'd comply. We were sitting there in our reading group. I'm going to get back to that reading group because all that's just stuff, guys. And it's good stuff and bad stuff. It is stuff, though, and it's not what accomplishes education. It's good stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to get in that political trap. But because, see, you never know how long this has got to last. I don't know when the end is, so I can't just plumb get out there. But anyway, we were sitting there in a reading group one day, and I got to thinking about what is it that makes this work? What really is it? I've been through East. I've done the East thing. I've developed the educational initiative, formed a 501c3 corporation, grown it nationally. I have done all these things, but now I'm right back where I started, and I still don't get it. I don't know what it makes it work. And so I was just trying my best to hang in there. Now, you got to remember, I'm not a well man at this point. Just sitting there one day, and right before a reading group, and Jesse had gone down to the cafeteria. He snuck off down there sometime. His grandmother worked in the cafeteria. Jesse had found a bucket of stuff they had scraped off the griddle that morning. JC had two really great loves in school. One was me, and the other was eating. He'd eat anything in sight. Jesse ate the entire contents of that bucket before anybody knew it. Jesse came down to my classroom that morning. Now, Jesse was never a breath of fresh air. But that particular morning, Jesse was in rare form. That's all I'm going to say. So much so that it being a relatively cool day, I shut off the air conditioner and raised the window. The rest of the kids came in, and we were getting ready to go to work. And I heard something in the back of the room. I looked back there, and Jesse was doing movements I hadn't seen him do. And, Jesse, what's going on? I think I'm going to be sick. And when he got sick, that boy hit the ceiling tiles in that one. Y'all been there, hadn't you? Huh? It's amazing when that happens. Fire alarm, all those emergency procedures, that ain't nothing. You talking about empty a classroom. Boom. I beat 2 of them out of there. I got down there I'm going somewhere with this educationally, by the way. I got back in there and I looked in the room, just peeked in the corner just in time to see the custodian leave campus in his truck. I got on the intercom and said, Mary Jane, you get him back here. He said he's not feeling well. He's gone for the day. I said, you think he ain't feeling well? You ought to be down here. Somebody's got to help me. I said, where's the principal? He's been called to Little Rock. I said, I was in it by myself. I cleaned that room up and I thought, okay, I can do this. I cleaned the room up. I threw the ceiling tiles out in the parking lot and I got them back in there. One of my little girls didn't want to come back in the room, and it's understandable. She had a thing about men, didn't like men, probably good reason. We did the door thing. Get in here, Ashley. No. Get in here, Ashley. No. Get in here. Ashley, you need to come in this room. I'm not coming in the room. Yes, you are. Somewhere in that process, I was a big enough idiot to put my finger in the doorway. Ashley noticed it, and bam, that door on my finger. It didn't just turn it purple, it burst. I immediately had a bloody lip from biting my lip to keep from just losing it. Have you ever lost it? Any of y'all ever lost it in the classroom? I hope you never do. I didn't that day. I bit that lip. We made it into class. Things were getting better. I thought, this is going to get better. It's got to get better. So I sat down in my reading group, and the boys started off usually. I had one little girl in that group, and the boys got to reading, and we were going along there pretty good, and all of a sudden, JJ, he just says, wait a minute, wait a minute. He comes right over to me, and he's looking at me like this, and all of a sudden, he goes, bam! He hits me in the side of the head, knocks me to the floor. I could not understand. I mean, he loved me. I love that kid. All of a sudden, this kid knocks me on the floor. Charles squirts up out of his chair, and he said, holy blank. And then he says, and then he's pacing around the room. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. No, you're not going. I can't get my breath. Derek gets up and says, Mr. Stephenson, there was a fly on your cheek. I saw the fly on your cheek. There was a fly on your cheek. Now, I'm still laying on the floor. Leanne comes running in the room, and she said, oh, my God, he's having the big one. And I said, call 911, call MedFlat. She's on the intercom. I'm still trying to get up off the floor. I finally get up off the floor, and I'm shocked, and I said, everybody shut up. I said, we're going to start this day over right now. Rosie starts bawling her eyes out. I said, what is the matter with you? Miss Stevenson, I peed my pants. I said, there you go. I said, everybody stop what they're doing. You sit down right there. Everybody sit down right here. Leanne, get in here. Leanne came in there. I said, first of all, Charles, because Charles is crying. He thinks he's going to prison. I said, Charles, you're not going to prison. That was exactly a holy. If I've ever seen one, that was one. You're not in trouble for that. Rosie, go call your mother and get some new breeches. Derek, I know there was a fly on my cheek. I felt the splatter. JJ, son, I don't care what's wrong with you. You can't go around hitting people in the head because they got a fly on their cheek. He said, I know, I'm so stupid. About that time, I heard a ping. I looked over, and that computer, that free computer, If I have ever been inspired in my entire life, that was the moment. I said, Miss Leanne, please take the kids somewhere for a very long time. I sat down and started writing. I wrote for 2.5 hours, non-stop, capturing the moment for them in Washington, D.C. And I hit the send button. It was just like being liberated. The day got better. Kids came back in, we went right on reading. I had a big wad of gauze on my thumb when I come home. My wife said, "How was your day, honey?" And I said, "It was interesting. How was yours?" She's a teacher too. We have learned to not complain to one another. Next morning I got to school, my superintendent was in my classroom. She said, "Did you write this?" I said, "Every single word." She said, "I was just wondering," and she left. The next day, a little guy come in there and removed my computer. We went on to read and to understand one another and to celebrate our little victories. I had 7 seniors reading on an 8th grade level. Had one little girl still hates me. I had a big bundle of love that I'll never forget. The year ended. I cried. My kids cried. Their parents cried and asked me to stay. I said, "I can't do that much swearing." This old dog can't get certified or qualified and highly this or highly that, and so I can't stay in this job. And they've asked me to come back to East and help where I can to further the vision of allowing our teachers who have the God-given gifts of teaching to focus on the child growth and development needs of our youth and to grow them into citizens that live and love and can capture the moment when necessary. I wrote a list that day of the characteristics that I hope my students would learn from me that year. And I've kept that list because it brought me back to the heart of why I wanted to be a teacher to begin with. I hope and pray my students learn to stand on their principles. I hope and pray that my students understand that hard work, not luck, determines the outcome. I hope and pray my students learn to value their diversity. I hope and pray that my students understand that because they are Americans, they're guaranteed the God-given right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not government-granted rights. I hope and pray my students will stand for the rights of people they strongly disagree with and hold tight to that principle. I hope and pray my students will value generosity and charity. I hope and pray my students will take as much pleasure as I do in exploring who they are, what they stand for, and find out what gifts they have and how to use them for good. And I hope they learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. Because life is tough when you're ignorant. My dad was saved by a principal. He was an orphan kid on the streets of Kansas City, not in school, living on the back porch of a saloon and a house of ill repute at age 9. He sold sandwiches and crossed the street all the time to a salvage yard to sell sandwiches to people going in and out of that salvage yard. A principal came in there with a load of scrap from the school and asked my dad why he wasn't in school. Through a series of events, my dad stayed in school, learned about church, learned about community, joined the Navy at age 17 and was introduced to World War II, where he was identified as being gifted and ended up teaching at MIT and serving as the communications director for NASA during the Gemini program. My life's work is to see to it that other kids, all of our kids, all of them, the long, the short, the tall, the good, the bad, the Jessies, all of them, find the relationship with a teacher that changes their lives. I applaud you. You've done an amazing job here in Springdale. Thank you for the honor of coming and sharing my story with you today. And I'm in awe of y'all's work. Be the keeper of the dream. Be the keeper of the dream here in Springdale. Don't get lost in the stuff. Don't get lost in it. It's good. But remember why you're here. Thank y'all.
We need to make CDs available the next time you have a tough day in the classroom, right? Wow, that is some story. Thank you so much, Tim. He's going to join us up here along with a panel of students from each of our East programs. We have our Sonora Elementary East programs. Each of them are going to have a teacher and a student here, and we're just going to ask them a couple questions after hearing Tim speak a little bit. So come on out, students, and here they are right up here. They're here from Sonora Elementary, Westwood Elementary, Springdale High School, Har-ber High School, and we will tell you that this year, I believe it's Tyson Middle School that has added East, so we will have 5 programs in our district. Well, let's just start. Why don't you all, first of all, we've got Westwood and Har-ber and Springdale High School in Sonora. Why don't you all tell us who you are, and then we'll ask you a question or two.
Okay, I am Carrie Kinney from Westwood Elementary.
I'm Abby Herrera from Westwood Elementary.
I'm Debbie Lamb from Har-ber High School.
Madison Haskins from Har-ber High School.
Remington Myers, Springdale High School.
Ariel Williams, Springdale High School.
Ricky Vaughn from Sonora Elementary.
Josh Worthy from Sonora Elementary.
It's easy to start right here. You just heard a statement from a guy who had a lot of humorous things to say, but he also talked about pursuing dreams. What has East done to help you pursue your dreams?
Well, first of all, it's taught me that, hold on.
The questions are spontaneous, so that's a tough one for us. But go ahead. What dreams do you have? How does it help?
Well, my dream when I first got into East was to be a doctor, right? And then when I went further along in East, I found out that they had a camera, and I started taking a lot of pictures. It was just, you could ask my facilitator, I started taking a lot of pictures. And now I see that I would like my career to be photography, because it's just how the photo translates into real life, and I like photography to be what I do.
That's very, very good. And have you seen the growth in her throughout this?
Absolutely. Abby's growth has been amazing from when she first came into the East classroom the first day to her leaving and going to be going into Helen Tyson next year. She's become a leader. She's become very confident in what she does. She's been able to solve problems using technology and being able to pursue her passions.
Very good. Thank you very much. You think about technology now, these high school students know technology very well. How has East allowed you to incorporate technology with maybe what you're thinking of about your future?
Actually, I'm planning technology to be my future. I'm planning into going to IT and information technology. But I would have never even thought of that before joining East. Actually, I wanted to be a real estate agent. So through East, I began getting into the computers and how cool they are and how many parts they have, and downloading technology and all the different things that technology does for us. I want to be able to go into that and go into schools and implement this technology that I use in my everyday life so students can kind of enhance their education. And so that's what I'm planning on doing whenever I grow up.
And Debbie, you heard Tim talk about having students come into the program that maybe were looking for something to do. You've worked with a lot of students like that. How have you seen them develop in your time with East? Other students maybe looking for something to do.
I have seen them come into classes where they have the basic skills, but when we start applying it, their learning into the projects, they become passionate and they want to go deeper and they want to know more, and they become enthused about technology, or it may be history or science. And I see them not only embracing their learning and taking it back into the class, but they're able to take this into their careers and to further their education. I have seen extreme growth in all of these students, and their grades have often improved too.
East also involves great teamwork. Springdale High School, have you seen maybe you yourself working with others in a way that maybe you hadn't before you were in East?
Yes, this past year was probably the pinnacle of my 3 years in East for teamwork. I was fortunate enough to be able to work with John Tyson Elementary, and together through their GT program, we worked to raise enough money to buy wheelchairs for third world countries, and it was just wonderful. And we also worked very closely with Har-ber, and it helps develop leadership and communication skills that I didn't have at one point.
Very good. You can tell that the communication skills are definitely enhanced by East, if nothing else. As you look as a teacher and bringing individuals in, how do you get them to work together as a team, and does East enhance that?
I think East definitely enhances that because it makes teamwork natural. Projects that they can work on, and then they realize they may get to a point where they're like, oh, in my project, I need a video, or I need graphic design. I don't know how to do that, but I know that Johnny on the other side of the room, he knows how to do that, so I'm going to go ask him for help. And so then it makes it more natural. And sometimes, as she said, it isn't just in the classroom, it's from school to school. And I really like that about the academic side, because in athletics, we compete so much and we develop this sort of bad blood. But in East and in academics, we work together and we're on the same team. And that's what I really like about that.
Very, very good. It also develops teams with the community. Josh, you all went out there as a new school a couple years ago and started immediately partnering with people in the community. What are some of the things you saw your students do to enhance the community out at Sonora?
Well, you kind of have to embrace the area around you. It doesn't matter if you're in a big school, small school, that's going to be, whether it's East, whether it's your classroom or your school, that's kind of the fingerprint of what's going on in that area. So we look to partner up with local farmers. We look to partner up with the church down the street. And we went big and we decided to partner up with KNWA our first year. And we fostered those real relationships where, you've got Dan Scoff from KNWA, who's, a weatherman, and he has all this professional knowledge. He comes into the classroom and then he starts to partner up with our kids, and they're having a real conversation about real subjects. It's not just every other math problem where the answers are in the back of the book. It's real discussions that are occurring in the real world. And you can ask Ricky, she's been working with some of the same software that they're using at that television show, but also it's the professional standard of what they use in that industry.
Well, we're going to ask Ricky something else. We're going to ask her how she feels, although that's really interesting that you would work with that kind of software, but how does it make you feel to work actually with adults in a community at solving problems, even at your age?
It makes me feel good because it gets me out more and I get to talk to different people, so I'm not as shy as some other people that haven't gotten to talk to other people that are in the real world.
Okay, let's give each of the students one chance here. Short answer. If you were going to tell this group of educators out here one thing you would like them to know about how you like to be taught, what would you share with them today? That's a tough question. Maybe one of the high school students will start first and come back to you, Ricky. What would you tell the educators?
I'll go ahead and start. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It's not necessarily just me, how I want to be taught, but all the students that go to any of the schools. I realized that almost every single student or every single kid in the United States goes through a public school system at some time in their life. So that makes you guys the biggest influence on their lives other than their parents. And so that's a big job. But just being patient with them and showing them the kindness that they need that they might not get at home or wherever they are. Through your teaching, being able to provide for them a hope for their future and the kindness that they need in their life.
Very nice. Ariel?
I think it's a huge part, and I think the best way to be taught is for me to find out for myself. Not, oh, well, here's the steps on how to do this problem, but give me the problem and let me find my own way, but, guide me as I go along. And I think that's what East does.
Very, very good. Okay. Madison?
Well, I think the best way to be taught is not just to be strict to the child and tell them exactly what to do, but to really get to bond with the child and then be kind. And some people aren't as good as the subject as others are, and you just have to accept that and just have have a good relationship with your students.
Very good. Ricky, you have something you want to add?
I think the best way to be taught is not to give up if you mess up on a problem or your strategy didn't work, just to keep trying and finally get it.
Very good. That's how we learn, isn't it? Thank you all. What a great panel, huh? Thank you very much. We learn from the kids, don't we? That's a great group. And you know what? Again, we talk about the individual. We have 22,000 of them, and you all know that there are thousands of individuals just like that. And as we wait for our next entertainer to come out, you think about that, 22,000 kids. University of Arkansas has a little over 24,000 kids, and they come from all over the state and the nation and internationally. We have about 2,000 kids less than they do at the University of Arkansas. That's pretty staggering when you think about it. It's also staggering to think about a young lady who's going to be a sophomore at Har-ber High School. She's been a harpist for quite some time. Heard her last year at Central Junior High School, and she did such a good job in front of the school board that they've invited her to play for you today. So why don't we welcome the sophomore to be at Har-ber High School, Emily Carpenter. That is amazing. There is plenty of talent in this district, and we are now going to hear from Springdale High School senior Justin Getch, who's going to sing for us. Justin?
shark, babe, has such teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old Mac Heath, babe, and he keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bites with his teeth, babe, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, though, where's Mac Heath, babe? So there's never a trace of red. Now on the sidewalk, ooh, Sunday morning, lies a body just oozing life. And someone's sneaking around that corner. Could that be our boy Mac the Knife? Now on a tugboat down by the river, don't you know, where a cement bag's just a drooping on down. Oh, that cement is just there for the weight, dear. 5 will get you a dime, old Mackie's back in town. Now Louis Miller, he done disappeared, babe, after drawing out all his hard-earned cash. And now Mac Heath spins just like a sailor. Could it be our boy's done something rash? Now Jenny Diver, whoa, Suki Tari, ooh, Miss Lida-Linya, and not to mention old Lucy Brown. You know when that line forms on the right, babe, now that Mackie's back in town. I said Jenny Diver, whoa, Suki Tari, ooh, Miss Lida-Linya, and not to mention old Lucy Brown. You know when that line forms on the right, babe, now that Mackie's back in town. Look out, old Mackie's back. Thank you.
Would you agree that today's program has something for everyone? Would you agree with that? Well, these kids are fantastic, that's for sure. Their talent is amazing. Tim Stevenson, thank you again for being here with us. We appreciate that. We are in the people business, as we've said repeatedly today, and finding ways to connect with our children is both an art and a science, and I expect we're all ready to be about that. I told you this morning that I too had a favorite song I wanted to play for you, and I do. I think I perhaps have done that. I know I have for certain teachers and administrators in the audience, but I want us to be very thoughtful as we kind of prepare to leave today. We have the privilege of a lifetime that's in front of us, and sometimes in all the push and pulls and dealing with all the variables that are in front of us, maybe we don't think about it just like that. But then life, as Tim pointed out, calls us front and center, and we have to re-examine our priorities. I spoke with our principals as they returned a few days ago, and I asked them this basic question. Because in these chaotic and uncertain times, we have to know where our core values are. We have to know who we are. We have to know what our priorities are. So I asked them what I thought to be a foundation question, and that is, what matters? And so I'm asking you that today. Most of you have trained your entire life to do the work that is in front of us. So we need to be real clear in terms of what matters to us. And the next natural question is, we know that our preparation, our efforts, the work that we've done in prior times has got us to this point. Do we want to go higher? Do we want to see more improvement? Do we want to see our students more engaged? Obviously, East does that. My guess is each of us want to be more and more successful. We want to be more and more prepared so that we can help move our children to higher levels of learning. This past spring, I took a few minutes and I went to several teachers' classes. I spent time watching their work. I invited 4 people to come down and visit with our school board because I wanted our board to see the excellence that all of us see in terms of their work and what they're able to bring forward from their students. I know I could have invited hundreds and hundreds of you, and I look forward to doing that very thing. But I invited Debbie Lamb to come down and speak with the board. I invited Tanisha Marshall to come and speak with the board. 2 Har-ber High School staff members. I invited Carol Turley and Chad Burkett, 2 Springdale High School staff members. And they shared with the board those things that they thought helped them connect with the kids. And I want to put this up here just briefly, and I know our time's about gone today. I only do that so that we'll have a basis to think together and reflect together, because I'm sitting in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of master teachers. But we all want to get better. None of us are finished practitioners. We want to grow and stretch. We have the Common Core standards in front of us, which will cause us to look at our work in a different way. I know that some are further along than others. I've often said that some of the very best leaders in our school are our teachers. Teachers, we need for you to lead. And for those of us who are not quite as far along, don't be impatient with us. We're coming. Show us how to do it. We'll follow. We'll add our expertise as we come forward. But let's just look at some foundation pieces for you to be reflective of as you prepare for Monday. Debbie Lamb made it really clear to me that what works for her in the East program is that those children know that she cares, that she loves them deeply. And so did Miss Marshall, and so did Miss Turley, and so did Mr. Burkett. And I expect everybody in the room could identify with that. But these children have to see that too. This is real important in my view. I think it's real important as I share the work of these teachers whom I consider to be master teachers. Not a one of them thought they had it. They were still learning themselves. They were learning along with the students. And so they reflected what DeWeck said in her book in terms of how important it is as educators that we all have an open mindset. Again, that we're willing to learn along with the kids, and they're prepared to see that with us. Have you thought about how you're going to do that? I expect you have, but it's not Monday yet. There are more 3 o'clocks in the morning to be thoughtful about things, and we all understand that, don't we? I think that's what Tim was talking about, don't you? He built a relationship with those kids, and he built on that relationship, and he connected with them, and he helped them learn. Obviously, we need to know our subject better, our knowledge base, et cetera, but we can all grow it. Again, how do we continue to learn and prepare so that we can lead all of our children to higher levels of learning? Our work is both an art and science, without question. If you begin to think and itemize and do your mental visuals, you can very quickly identify those things that are the art, those things that are the science, and then how are we organizing our work to try to grow in each of those areas. 22,000 kids? Wow. How are we going to connect with each of them? If you've got 20 kids or 25 kids in your class, then we have to together be reflective about how we're going to do that. I guess that's in my heart, my personal wish. That's what I want for each of you. I see these great teachers, and I see their joy and their passion and the vibrant life they live because they have been able to have this kind of relationship and take other young people forward. That's clearly what I would want for each of you. I can assure you, if we're able to be successful with that, the learning of our students will soar. This professional learning piece is big. We've worked on it. We've put it aside. We've come back to it. I think we've got to come back to it again and again and again. I would not want for any of you a day in this school district when you felt isolated or thought you had to do this work alone. In the end, we're going to talk about a quality curriculum in every class every day. Well, who's going to determine that? In this school district, you have enormous autonomy as professionals to talk together and plan together and bring forward a coherent curriculum that you believe is the very best for our children. My hope is that everybody in this room is on a professional learning team. And if you're not, I hope you'll talk together and we'll get that kind of structure in place so you can work as professionals together to do the very best for our kids. This is one of, in my view, the great strengths of this team. Springdale teachers do not make excuses about anything. We know if we do our work well that our kids are going to be successful. These kids have been on stage today are great examples of the talent and the potential and promise that really so many, all of our kids have. But when we do our work well, we own our students' learning. That's something you can build on. That's something we will build on in the year ahead. If we do our work well and our kids succeed, then we celebrate. If we do our work and it doesn't produce the results we want, we regroup and try again. That's what professionals do. In my view, the internal accountability system in this school system has gotten better every year. There's all sorts of accountability conversations going on in our country today. External accountability from every imaginable perspective. And I want to tell you again, what matters the most, in my view, is your accountability system. The standards that you set, your willingness to work together to help kids learn just a little bit more. And that's what I hope to see grow and deepen in the year ahead. You are a phenomenal group. In my view, the finest educational team in this state. We're going to get better this year. We're going to work together. We're going to learn together. As I said, if there are gaps, we'll identify those and fill them together. That's what great teams do. Now, I want to play this video that I've tried to set up all day. I just like it. I mean, there's just a message there that, in my view, is pretty special. The title of the song is, I Don't Have To, I Get To. And that's what I want us to be reflective about. And to me, there's a treasure there that causes us all to go forward and stretch, etc. Eric, let's look at that.
They used to make me go to church, clip on tie, starts a shirt. I never heard the preacher's words, slouch down in that pew. These days going to church is something I don't grass. It took all day and I hated that, till his heart attack last June. These days helping Dad is something I don't have to do. I get to wake up early. I get to go to work. I get to make an honest living, put my hands down in the dirt. I get to hear Grandma complain about all her little aches and pains. I get to rock my baby girl to sleep, spend my weekends coaching Little League. There's a lot of things I don't have to do. I get to. I used to hate to say those words. You always seem to say them first. I dreamt one night you'd left this earth. I woke up and reached for you. Now I realize I don't have to say I love you. I get to wake up early. I get to go to work. I get to make an honest living, put my hands down in the dirt. I get to hear Grandma complain about all her little aches and pain. I get to rock my baby girl to sleep, spend my weekends coaching Little League. There's a lot of things I don't have to do. There's a lot of things I don't have to do. I get to.
Do you agree we get to, don't we? I've got to tell you a Kinley story. Who's Kinley? Do y'all know who Kinley is? Well, last year I introduced her to you, and I told you we'd be working on the Gettysburg Address. Didn't I tell you that? Well, she's now 17 months old, and she's pretty well got the recitation down. We pretty well got that. We're working on that 4-score business. We're still trying to figure that out. 22,000 kids we get to. We're going to have a great year together. We have 2 closing entertainment pieces for you, and then we're going to dismiss. Thank you for choosing to serve here.
Before we introduce our last entertainer, and then Dr. Rollins has a final video that he would like to show you, I would like to thank you in advance for the great stories that you're going to share with us this year. Jordan Godfrey and I in the communications department, Trent Jones in the district TV department, we're anxious to get out there and find out the great stories that you have. So don't be hesitant at all to say, hey, we've got a student that you need to come talk to. We've got a teacher that you need to come talk to. We love telling the great stories of the Springdale School District. I hope we can get to them all. We have about 24,000 capabilities when you count students and teachers and principals. That's an awful lot, but thank you for the privilege of telling those stories. Now we need to introduce our final student of the day. In fact, he's a former student. He's a graduate of the Springdale School District. He's about to be a senior at the University of Arkansas. So let's welcome back to Springdale, Michael Rothmeyer.
Dreams, that's where I have to go. that there isn't a thing I wouldn't do. I could get back on the right track, but only if you'd be convinced. So until then, if you ask me how I'm doing, I would say I'm doing just fine. I would lie and say that you're not on my mind. Oh, and I go out and I sit down at a table set for two. Oh, and finally I'm forced to face the truth. That no matter what I say, I'm not over you. Not over you. Not over you. Not over you.
Thank you, Michael. Great work. I want to leave this thought with you. All of us are continuing to stretch and try to get better and develop our visions for what can be as our students learn at the highest possible level. You remember earlier in the program today, I said, the children have brought the world to us. In our school system, we understand that better today than perhaps ever before. But when we do our work, when the great teachers do their work to bring the talents and the potential and promise of children from all over the world, you can begin to see the opportunity that is ours right here in our school system. Eric Whitaker has used the technology and the voices of the children of the world to create a virtual choir. My intent today is for that to, again, be a symbolic message for us to leave today and reflect on and be exhilarated about the opportunity to get to serve in this great school system. Let's see the virtual choir. When this is concluded, we are dismissed. Y'all have a great year.